Hello, everybody. We are Geeks Assembled, and as usual, I'm joined by Susan over the pond. And this week we're discussing a 1941 movie starring Bela Lugosi in was it 10 years after he appeared as Dracula, um, doing his usual spooky stuff. This one is
Mhm.
called Invisible Ghost. Um, he plays a character called Dr. Kessler, and his wife vanished a year ago, and he hasn't got over that. And we'll go from there, shall we? Over to Susan and our opening thoughts on Invisible Ghost.
All right. Well, yeah, I actually love Bela Lugosi a lot. Bela Lugosi is, I mean, the whole thing about him is cool. He's Dracula. He's Hungarian himself. He's got sort of a trippy addiction to hallucinogenics as a person, as an actor, not the character. The character of Dr. Kessler. I mean, was this why they named the master Dr. Kessler and the Kessler device in the Mind of Evil? Kind of because, it's the same kind of thing. It's mind control. Uh, his bride sitting out at the other side of a window pane, tripping him out so much that he goes into like this fugue state and starts killing people. I mean, that's pretty cool. And it's this one was like it was a part of a great big box set of fully 50 or more uh like 1930s, 1920s to 1950s horror films. And I kind of just selected it because of Bela Lugosi and the name, and the fact that this weekend we're start off with this weekend being all about ghosts,
Mhm.
and which is a great way to start Halloween spooky season. And and the other thing is it's it's another in a long line of serial killers. I mean, he just sits there in his home and he starts bumping people off, and then he finds ways of like connecting it to other people. I mean, it's like it's crazy how ineffective the other people are, but it's also crazy how effective he is because he uses his cloak to not leave any evidence. That's also pretty cool, and that's very Bela Lugosi. And other things are, uh, I mean, it's got Polly Ann Young, who is a pretty good actress. I just hadn't watched. I didn't remember her name being really very much a part of anything. And then, yeah, it's just his mind being controlled was really fun in a lot of different ways. So I enjoyed this movie. It was fun to watch it. I watched it a while ago, um, but this time I was just, you know I was kind of clued into a few things, like his despair at losing his wife, and how seeing her and the voices inside his head. He thought he'd killed her, and see, that's really why he goes bonkers, is that he totally thought he killed her. And so, I mean, that's why he was acting the way he was. Anyway, it's not very long. It's super
Mm.
short. In fact, it's like God. It's over just like that. It's like an hour. It's only an hour long or something like that. It's like just that short.
64 minutes.
Yeah, it's so short. Holy crap! It's just you barely get to know these characters and the thing is done. And so that's really an interesting thing about this movie too. And yeah, it was a I guess it was a pretty I think I don't know if it's rated very high, but by other people, but I kind of like it. And so, what do you think, Lee? Your opening thoughts.
Well, this is the first time I've seen this movie. I've known about, I've seen, because I've got a collection of it on as well. Um, we'll have to get one thing straight here. There's no invisibility in the movie, and there's no ghost. So the title lies you straight away. There's no invisible ghost.
No, it's true.
So I don't know where they were coming from that for the title. Um, yeah, it was Bela Lugosi being Bela Lugosi,
Mm.
doing, you know, imagining his wife was still with him having breakfast, and over a year since she left him for another man. And then as you go along, you do get the idea that yeah, he must have tampered with the car to kill both of them. And then seeing his wife outside in the rain or whatever, sending him a bit doolally, trippy. Um, yeah, small cast. Even one actor plays two characters. Uh,
Uh,
plays Ralph and Paul, the twins. Um,
huh.
yeah,
That's
it's a strange one. This because you get Bela Lugosi when he goes into his killing trance. He's doing his Dracula, isn't he, with his hands? Because that's the famous
hmm
Dracula with his hands like that.
hmm hmm
As he was coming down the stairs, he was like that. I thought
hmm
Dracula.
hmm
Uh,
hmm
I did find something weird though. Why would the gardener and his wife keep Mrs. Kessler in the cellar for a year and not tell no one? I just didn't understand that. I mean, they found her in with when the road accident happened and got her out of the accident, so they didn't take her to hospital. They tended to her themselves and put her in the cellar. She wasn't a prisoner. She wasn't chained or tied up. I just didn't understand why they were keeping that and why they didn't inform the authorities. I just didn't get that.
I think that she was keeping herself.
Mm. I just thought that was a bit weird. And then, of course, when the gardener was killed or wasn't killed, what? He was
I
killed. He was
know.
he was pronounced dead. He was taken to the police mortuary. He was laid on the slab. He wakes up. What?
Huh.
What have they taught these doctors? But yeah, it is, as you say, it's a very short movie. Um, for me, the standout performances in this was Clarence Muse as Evans, the butler. I thought he was
hmm
brilliant. And of course, near the end of the movie, they tried to accuse him of the murders.
hmm
Would that have been because of the skin color? You
And
think
because the butler usually does it.
the butler did it? Yeah. Um, and I like the way they brought in a psychiatrist and his way of found out people are lunatics. What is it? Are you mad? What? Is that the and it was just. Do you think I'm insane? Do you think he's insane? How do you how do you get? That's some great medical reasoning.
Jeez, I know.
But yeah, Evans the Butler was a great character, and the new cook, what was her name? Who Kessler persuaded to stay. Was it Mrs. Mason or something like that? I can't remember now. But she replaced the other cook. She was quite a character because Kessler was panicking that she'd been killed or murdered, and she'd been out shopping. But yeah, it's a strange one. So he was having these trans trances every time he saw his wife, and that made him kill.
Uh-huh.
No explanation why.
Okay, this is what I think it is, okay?
Yeah,
I think there is a subtle supernatural element. I've got to answer your question
yeah.
because this is the reason for the invisible, and this is the reason for the ghost, is that uh he sees his wife, and the spiritual thing that caused him to try and kill her in the beginning is still active in him and is still pursuing him, and that's what grabs him every time.
Mm, I don't know. It
It's
wasn't
one of
clear.
those. It's one of those kind of like uh, you know, ugly evil ghosts, like the one in the portrait in Ghostbusters 2 in New York. The big picture. It's like that. It's like the it's like the dark side of the force.
Yeah.
It just gets in there, and so I don't think that it has to do with so much. It has to do with his wife. Is it just that fugue state, that tripped out state, like you were saying, um, comes on because the same spirit that it just it uses her being there to trigger him.
Mm.
I mean, it's like an on switch.
Yeah. I mean, also as well, it wasn't explained, or it just happened. Where she returned to the house a year later, living in the cellar with the gardeners, in the gardener's house, and she drops down dead. Um, just no explanation there either.
I know.
Maybe this is why it was a short movie. There was everybody was just dropping down dead. Um,
Mm,
yeah, it's not, as you say, it's not a. I wouldn't class it as a horror. It's more of a psychological thriller, isn't it?
hmm.
Yeah, there's a
Except for Bela Lugosi's in
yeah, and
it,
also
so in
also as
in
well,
that it be go ahead.
but also as well, from the sort of first 15 minutes of the movie, he's the killer.
Hmm.
So they're not hiding that till the end.
Hmm.
You're seeing him go into these trances and kill these people.
Hmm.
Uh, there's no surprise at the end. Oh, it was him. But, yeah, it was an enjoyable movie. Anything what stands out for you?
uh yeah, you're right about the cool portrayal of the two twins.
Mhm.
uh that was great, like Virginia. The fact that her father killed her boyfriend, and then his twin brother shows up. I mean,
Yeah.
like you could tell that maybe the spirit was going to use that guy as a trigger next, because the whole anger, he how if he would have figured out that her father had killed him, and that her
Hmm.
father had uh you know had killed all these other people, he would uh he would have killed the father or whatever, like that, like that kind of mess would have been really hard. Anyway, gosh, it's a what if thing. This is you get into a lot of like what ifs with this movie because they don't develop anything very deeply. It is pretty much. I
As
mean,
as
there's no
as you said earlier, you don't get to know the characters, so you can't show any emotions for these characters who get killed, or because you don't know them.
right. You haven't. There isn't very long before everything changes for these ones,
Mm,
and they're not written with deep emotion to begin with. They're pretty standard father figure, daughter figure, boyfriend
mm,
figure. Plug in the actor as you will. But the fact that Bela Lugosi plays the father and he is able to pull off the idea of being a father and the idea of being this crazed killer, yeah, I think that in and of itself makes the movie for me.
yeah.
The
I mean, I did
just
mention
love
the
Bela
I
Lugosi.
did mention the hands trick,
Uh huh.
uh, but also as well when he went to smother the victims with his cape or coat, whatever it was,
Uh huh.
dies above it and the light shine on it. They did that in Dracula. Do you remember?
I know it's true.
I, I thought you're using some old tricks here,
Mm-hmm.
successful tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you might as well. So yeah, it's a short and sweet movie. Also as well in this time, when was this? 1941, 30s, 40s, and 50s. The police force was always made out to be quite stupid, quite not figuring out these cases. I mean, it was one house, and there was only so many people in the house, and there was a murder nearly every night,
Yeah.
and they didn't figure it out. You know, I thought, but that was the case back then in them sort of that era. They always made the police out to be a bit thick.
Yeah. It was it was making fun of the police. It really was.
Because I've seen many,
And
I've seen many movies of that era, and it's always the same. The police are always the last to figure it out.
mhm,
But
that's true.
it's a yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was a success. It doesn't say what it did at the box. I don't think they had box office back then, did they? No. It had mixed reviews apparently. I can understand why,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
if you're going in to watch a movie about an invisible ghost and you don't get an invisible ghost, but you do
Or
get
you get something that is uh so so kind of tangential to the story. Like you can't see it. There's nobody discussing what's happening with this guy. There's
yeah,
nobody who discusses the actual effects of what is happening. Because if it's a fugue state, if it's possession, so that's why I think that it was you like they had to have a trigger and they had to have like a long term sort of presence with that ghost.
yeah. I'm just looking at the production notes here. It had several titles before Invisible Ghost.
Oh yeah, what were
Uh,
they?
it was announced initially. It was announced in the press as a Murder by the Stars, and then it was later retitled The Phantom Killer. Then it became Invisible Ghost.
Yeah, the Phantom Killer.
That
That's
would
what
have
I mean. Like it
that
could
would
have
have
been the Force.
yeah, that would have suited it better. I think The Phantom Killer.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
Murder by the Stars. I mean, no.
Who knows why?
Yeah, that's as random as Invisible Ghost.
Yeah. But hey, the
Hmm.
plug for Invisible Ghost. So, but I think it's because back then all these horror movies was a money earner. So we'll pull the audience in. We'll call it Invisible Ghost. Um,
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Invisible Ghost? It's a short movie, so
Um,
it might be a short cast.
it might be a short podcast. It's true.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noticed about this is that the women weren't shown to be hysterical. That's the thing I like the most about this is that
Yeah,
the these women are, that they have I mean, yes, it's surface, but they have just a normal characterization. They're not like shown to be screaming or becoming hysterical or any of those normal horror tropes. So that's another reason why you know it may not seem or feel like much like, yeah.
but
Anyway,
they're,
I
they're
really I personally like it, even though it's panned.
yeah. Maybe the women didn't become
It's
hysterical because it was only 64 minutes. If it was 80 minutes, they might have had more time to become hysterical.
oh yeah, yeah, maybe.
Let's cut the hysterics out of this one.
Okay.
Um, Anything else? Shall we go to final sense score?
Yeah, okay.
Over to you then.
All right. Well, due to the fact that Bela Lugosi in this is he can pull off the different phases of this character, his pre-dissociative state, his dissociative state, and the fugue that he goes into, the Dracula remnants that live in his physicality. Yeah, exactly. And then the cloak, I didn't notice the cloak thing. That I gotta look for that one next time I watch. Anyway, it is so short you can watch it a bunch of times
Yeah.
and you won't feel like you lost any time. And the other thing is I mean it is really kind of a cool psychology to it. And so yeah, I'll give this eight uh, eight locked bedroom doors out of 10, and just remind people that when in your girlfriend's house with her father there, you should probably lock your bedroom door.
That's true. That's true. Um, yeah, I mean, Bela Lugosi is an icon. He's a legend. Uh, that reason, I'd give Bela Lugosi 10 any time. But for the movie though, because it was
Uh-huh.
lacking in time to get to know the characters, um, lacking in suspense, more horror. As I say, it's more of a psychological drama. Um, I'll I'll give this 7.5
Oh,
winkling Lugosi eyes out of 10. Yeah, because he's an icon. He's an icon up there with Karloff and Cheney Jr. and Tony
mm,
Senior and all that. Without those guys, we wouldn't have had the classic horrors what followed. So yeah,
yeah,
so
it's
that's
true.
our that's our little discussion for the short film Invisible Ghost from 1941. You guys, have you seen it? Uh, if not, why not? Because it's only a short movie. Fit it in your day, watch it. It's out there to be watched. Um, Leave a comment below.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube and Dailymotion and a bunch of other
Yeah, yeah.
free sites.
I think it's in the public domain. So there's quite a
Yeah,
few of
yeah.
them now. yeah, so if you've seen it, leave a message below on this video. You'll find this video on all the social media platforms we share it on. We share it about on all of them. So please leave a comment, and if you want to join us as well, leave a comment on the video, message us and say I would like to join. All we ask you is to be 18 and over, because some things we discuss are 18 rated, and our discussions sometimes get heated. All you need is a working camera and microphone on the device you use, and you can join us anytime you feel that you want to. Um, and the only other thing is, when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, remember to press the bell notification button, because then you'll get notified. There's the bell. Because yeah, subscribing doesn't make you get notified. So just let you know that. So that's our little review of Invisible Ghost. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, please be safe and remember. Ooh.